in three, two, one, and we're live. Hello, we're here
Hello.
today with Marj O'Neill Butler, who is the writer of Baby Fever.
Yay.
How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you for agreeing to do this interview.
Oh, it's fun. I'm in Miami Beach. You're somewhere in China, in Hong Kong, I guess. And here we are talking. It's nighttime for you and it's morning for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a night person, so this doesn't bother me, so I'm good.
And I'm a morning person, so we match
We
perfectly.
compliment. That's great. That's a great start to our interview.
Oh, my dogs are barking. I'm sorry. My friend is coming
It's
in.
all right. It's all right. What's your dog's name?
Well, I have three.
Oh
They're all
my
rescues.
god.
And it's Bella and Busta and Mr. Bean.
Oh my god. Who's Mr. Bean?
He's the little one. He was rescued from a very bad situation, but
Oh,
he's a happy little clam
I'm
now.
so glad to hear that. I'm really glad. And I love how one of them is Bella, because my name is also Isabella. So,
That's
anyway, shall we get started talking about baby fever?
yes.
Now, what inspired you to create that play?
Well, I'm not actually sure. I have two sons, and they finally got married in their 40s. And all of a sudden, I have five grandchildren within like 3.5 years
Wow.
because one of them was a set of triplets. So they live on the west coast of the States, but I have visited them before COVID. And so babies have been on my mind. And probably shouldn't confess this, but one set of parents is very strict and everything's very organized. And the other set of parents is sort of like hippie mentality where, oh, everything's fine, everything will be all right. So, and that's what got me started on it. And I practically wrote it in one sitting.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And what, I mean, since you're saying one is the hippie kind of parent and one is the strict kind of parent, what, and as you are someone who has two sons, which kind of parenting were you?
I was the stricter
All
one.
right.
I had boys who, well, they were brought up on the top of a mountain in Vermont
Wow.
near Canada, and we had a huge bunch of land. So they grew up, pretty well without friends, except when we brought them up the mountain to visit. So they were pretty well disciplined. They were told when to come home and what to do, and it's helped because they themselves are have been pretty disciplined. One is more disciplined than the other. You can guess which one. But then my hippie one is my talented one. He's
Okay.
the musician and the composer, and
Wow.
he works on computers. So um, I just figure whatever they do, it's their life. I had my shot at raising kids, so now this is their turn, and we'll see what happens when they grow up.
Amazing. That's I did not expect that. That you wow, you're very humorous. And I like that a lot. Now, um, since this is kind of a new medium of entertainment, and it's not like theater, isn't it? It's not live stage and everything where you can see in person. Now it's on Zoom. How do you feel watching it on Zoom nowadays?
Well, some of the things are better than others. Just like in live theater, community theater
Mm.
isn't as good as professional actors are. And also, a lot of community theaters don't have the technical skills to film it well. on the other hand, I've had some things done that are still running on the internet, and Baby Beaver is one of them, where it was really well done and well rehearsed and well cast, and that's exciting to see.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I like when my work is produced.
Mm.
Uh, I started writing children's theater years ago when I was running a theater company up in Vermont, a summer theater, and then a year-round touring program. And this, I'm showing my age at this, but this was in the 70s when there was nothing entertainment wise for the children in Vermont. So we would travel all over the state doing shows for children. So I wrote those because uh, I wanted to, number one, but also because I needed to have shows that I thought were important. Like one was the show called Everybody's Different, and it was four clowns, and one was the blue clown, and one was the sad clown, and it was dealing with not bullying. So that was an early play about not bullying. Uh, so that's where I started, and then I raised my kids. I didn't write so much because I was running the theater,
Mm.
and then I got back to it, and I aged out of performing pretty much. There's not many parts for women who look like me, unfortunately. So I started writing, and now I tend. Baby Fever was different, but I tend to write with at least one part for a woman who's over 50 because I believe in supporting the older
Mm.
actors and give them a chance and give them roles. And so I write parts for pieces I'd like to be in. And so far that hasn't worked, but I'm still writing.
I mean, one day I would love to see a show that you wrote for yourself as a one woman show, you know?
Ah, I'm actually just about to start writing a one woman show with another friend, but not for me
Aww.
because it's about a woman who is very tiny, and I'm 5'9", so I couldn't pull it off.
Wait, what's the standard of short? Because I'm 5'3".
That would be short. Yeah.
Okay, so I
So
am
maybe.
short.
Oh, I didn't mean to
No,
insult you.
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I get from my friends that they're like, "Are you really short? Or are you really tall?" It's like a bit of an average height in Hong Kong, but continue.
Right. Well, I've always been tall. I was tall at age 12. I was like 5'7" in seventh grade.
Oh, you are definitely taller than me when you're in seventh grade. Jeez.
Yeah,
You have a great growth spurt.
I did. I did. I never minded being tall though because I took dance classes as a kid. I danced from when I was 3,
Wow.
and I actually have a master's in dance, and I taught on the college level. But because of the dance, I never got to that awkward, round-shouldered kind of I don't want to be tall thing. So,
What kind of
and
dance?
I did all kinds: tap,
Wow.
Hawaiian, Indian, ballet, everything when I was growing up. And then my degree was in modern dance.
Wow. I did modern jazz for years ago. I had to also do exams, but wow, modern dance is hard. I applaud you for that.
Yes, yeah. My knees are telling me that now.
Oh, your poor knees.
Yeah, my knees.
Also, I want to mention about your play. I love the jokes that was used in the play, like rabbit habits, MBA to CUP. That was just legendary. It's just so good.
And I don't know where it came from. I mean, I just wrote it, and there it was. I just don't know where it came from. But but I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's good.
I like the jokes hit on so well in the piece, and I really enjoy watching thoroughly on that show. And also, I want to know, like, how did you feel watching the final cut of the whole piece?
Well, I had been to rehearsal, so I wasn't too surprised at how good it was
Oh.
because I had watched them and watched them grow. And they were very supportive of me, allowing me to give notes during the rehearsal process. I didn't give too many because they didn't need too many, but um, I just thought that it came out really well. It's it had one it's had one other reading, um, but it was more really right into the script. These gals really made it come alive, even though they were still, uh, well, they memorized it, but they
Mm.
were still. Um, the book was there if they needed it, I think, but they were great. They really developed the role so well, and I love the fact it was not Erica, it was Hope, who was willing to look really bad and tired because the first day she came to rehearsal, she was gorgeous, glamorous, and her hair was all curly and beautiful. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, is she really willing to go there? But she did. She just didn't throw the makeup on, and she just had their hair all a mess. So yeah, she went for it, which was great.
Yeah, it was honestly great. And she had like the cigarette on the boob. Perfect.
Yeah.
Top. Cherry on top. Yeah, I'm glad that you liked it, and I'm glad the whole experience of participating CNC like made a great time for you. Shall we move on talking about your background?
My background?
Yeah, so what inspired you to be in this industry? Because I know you dance. I found out just now, but also you do acting and like a bit of like writing and a lot of like producing too. Like 40, like I also noticed you have 49 plays produced, which is crazy. That's amazing.
Now it's 51.
Whoa! You hit the 50 mark. That's awesome.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. What's most fun for me, though, is getting produced out of the States. I was produced in Korea and I was produced in Canada and Great Britain. So that's just, it's thrilling to know that my words mean something in another country.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I got into theater pretty much through my dance experience. I performed a little bit in New York before I moved on to teaching, but I was never really as good as some of the best dancers, and so you have to be realistic. So I went into teaching, and I was a good teacher. And then I met the man who I married,
Oh.
and moved to Vermont, and it was a really different story. We um, heard that this man wanted to start a summer theater in Woodstock, Vermont. And so we applied and we got it. And he gave us $10,000 to run a summer theater. Now, the most interesting part to me was um, my husband was a theater major and he had a master's degree in theater. I had a master's degree in dance. The first year, Meryl Streep was in our company. The
Oh.
second year,
Oh.
Meryl Streep was in our company. And when I say you could tell that she was going to be a star, you could tell. She was the most amazing person to watch. And I remember there were two things that I really remember very strongly. She was doing a play that I produced. It's a three-person play called The Voice of the Turtle by John Van Druten. And there was a scene with the guy. It took place in the 40s, and they were having milk and cookies. And all of a sudden, I was off stage, and all of a sudden I heard her say, "Excuse me, just a minute." And she ran off stage, and you could hear this sort of coughing. And then she came back on stage and she said, "I'm sorry, I got a cookie stuck in my throat." Now, where were we? And the scene went on as if
Oh.
nothing had
Oh
happened.
my gosh.
And the other thing was, when she was in rehearsal, she was totally the character she was playing. But then on breaks, like for lunch break or stuff, she was Meryl. She has a very dirty mouth, and, and and she would just be one of the gang and, very contemporary for the period. And then she would go back into rehearsal and she would turn into this other complete person.
Oh my god.
So those are my two Meryl stories. She also toured with us one winter in Vermont, which I don't know if you know, but Vermont is really cold and snowy during the winter. So traveling in a car, doing a performance and driving back to the housing. She was a trooper.
Wow.
She was great. And then from there she went to Yale and the rest is history.
Oh my god. So you had experienced the beginning moment of Meryl Streep then?
Yes.
That is such an honor. That's amazing. Oh wow. That is crazy.
It is crazy.
Cause I met a guy from this my first interview with in the CNC interview things. It was a guy called Sean Phillips, and he had worked with Meryl Streep for a theater before, and that was when she already had already got to where she is now. But you are talking where she had not even started her acting career, and that's wow, that's crazy. And the cookie
Yeah.
stuck in her throat, that is genius. How that is such a good idea. Spot on. Wow. I and wow, and also then cuz you went from dancing to theater and also like doing a bit acting, but what made you start writing theater then?
Well, the writing was when I was writing theater for children, because my husband and I went to New York to a convention to look at theater companies that were sort of presenting a little bit of something so you could think about booking them. And we absolutely hated what we saw. I remember there was this one guy playing Pinocchio who was about 40 and tap dancing. And I thought, this is not what I want to see on stage. So we decided to do, I would try to write the things and we would do our own pieces. And we did tales from Aesop's Fables
Wow.
called uh, Fantasy Theater. We did um, Everybody's Different about bullying. We did shows about America, and they were all done in story theater style. Usually we had four actors and they would transform right on stage in front of the kids. And we didn't have theaters really in Vermont. So they would be in what they call in the States the all purpose room, which was the cafeteria slash auditorium slash whatever. And so we would go in and set up in 3/4 round and tape the floor so that the kids could sit on the floor on three sides of the stage and they could be very close to the actors that way. And there was a little path leading off the downstage points so they could make entrances and exits. And so that's how it started. And then another, I divorced that husband,
Okay.
and then my second and current husband was writing, and he asked me for an idea about a play, and I gave him an idea, and he took it away, and he came back a month later and showed me, and I said, that is not exactly what I had in mind. Try this. And he would go. He went away again, and he came back, and he showed it to me again, and I said, no, uh, no, I'm taking my idea back. And I wrote a full length play, and it was about five lady cops,
Wow.
and it had a production. So then I just kept writing.
Oh my god. I want to read your whole entire plays now. Because they all, like, I love the plays that really help support the woman in the industry. And
Yeah.
also, as you had mentioned before, like, how you're going to have a virtual theater of presenting black woman playwrights in February. And I'm
Yes.
excited for all
Um,
of those things that are happening for you. I'm very happy for you for that.
uh, well, you have to make work sometimes.
mm.
Um, as I told you earlier, when I read the women, black women, are the least produced theater writers. I decided to do something about it. And we got, I think, 67 different monologues. And I have three readers, including myself. And we're just about to announce the ones that won. And I'm working on my cast. I have 5 actors already signed up, and we're looking for 2 more. So, you know, you find work for yourself. And I think, given the fact that so few women get a chance to be produced and black women the least, it'll be a great thing for Black History Month.
That is, yes, I agree. And also in terms of writing, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it to be produced. But I want to ask, like, what is your favorite piece of writing that you have written?
Um, I I have a play called Finding Help, which I love, and it's had, I think, 9 or 10 productions, even in the COVID time. Lots of them are on, we're on Zoom, but it's about a woman who's mature, like myself, and her daughter is trying to get her to either go into assisted living or have somebody come in, but she is resisting. She doesn't want some big old woman to come in and do it.
Sorry, Marge. Can you fix your audio? Cause I couldn't hear the sentence you said just now.
Oh, I didn't do anything. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Thank you.
All right. So anyway, this woman is resisting her daughter's help, and then the doorbell rings, and a guy comes in, and the daughter introduces him as the he's come here to help her, and the woman says, "I don't want you here," and the guy says, "Okay, I'll see you," and he turns around and leaves, starts to leave, and the woman says, "Wait a minute, I want to know more about this. Why did you come?" And so it ends up that he's as snippy as the mother, and they get along like gangbusters, and she ends up accepting him to come and help her. So it's very it's about a serious situation for an elder, but it's very heartwarming, and it's also funny.
Wow. Oh, that is such a sweet story. Cause there's always this kind of. It's nice that you also written like it's nice that you written roles that is for older people and also like along with young people. Cause I think everyone can relate to that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think that's why it's had so many bookings, because everybody can relate.
I'm glad to hear that. And also, um, now that you have your favorite piece of writing, what is your favorite play that was produced of your writing?
My favorite play. Um, I wrote a play called. I have. I've written, like, I don't know, well over 60 plays. So it's sometimes my brain doesn't bring it up, but it takes place on the Staten Island Ferry,
Okay.
and it's a mother and daughter, and the mother's complaining, fetching about how her daughter isn't married, and all of a sudden, magically, this really good-looking man appears, and the mother says to the daughter, "Go introduce yourself," and the daughter doesn't, so the mother does. And so it's had several productions, and it always brings the house down. And I've won first place when they have contests with that piece.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing though.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of
I love.
yeah. Because
Yeah, sorry, continue.
no, I was just going to say, because she's in the States, we call her a Jewish mother. She's very pushy and very aggressive, and so I'm sure that every country has their typical mother that's pushy and aggressive, but she is very pushy and aggressive. And they end up talking, the young couple, and the mother is like, the Jewish expression is kvelling, because oh, she's so happy they're getting along. Uh, I'm not Jewish, but I was raised in a town where there were a lot of
I
Jewish
was
people, so
thinking, are you
we have
Jewish?
you're Jewish, did you
I,
say?
I,
No,
I was thinking, are you Jewish when you kept saying about
no.
okay.
I was raised in New York, and all my friends, most of my friends were Jewish,
Right.
so it's like this.
I mean, for someone under Asian household, by the time you hit 25, people will ask you, like relatives will be like, so where's the boyfriend? Where's the husband? And we're like, I don't know. Do I want a husband now? Not really. I think yeah, it's a very pushy society. I mean, like for Asians, to be honest.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll just have to see.
I think it's the same all over. And fathers get very nervous when the child isn't married.
Yes.
We should get over that, by the way,
Yeah.
because
I'm sorry.
it's not the most important thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Happiness in what you do is what's really important.
you're a great mom. I
Thank you.
and I noticed that you have been a member of numerous places such as the New Play Exchange, International Center of Women for Women Playwrights, Actor Equity, and the Screen Acting Guild, which is really cool that you're in a lot of things. Explain, how did you get to all of them? It's like you're earning like Pokemons along the way for some reason.
Well, you work, and you get cast in certain things, and you know it's actors equity and SAG are like the chicken or the egg. You have to get the part in order to join the union, and in order to join the union, you have to get the part, and it's not always that easy.
Right.
But I did a number of things, and I haven't done a lot on SAG, but I did enough that it was fun, and I did commercials, which was, supported me for a while. But and the Dramatists Guild, you have to apply and you have to present your work, and then they say yes. And now I'm the regional rep for Florida.
Whoa! Congrats!
Thank you. Yeah, I've been doing it for about 8 months now, and uh, we didn't have much representation in prior time. The regional reps didn't do that much, but I have an assistant, an ambassador that I work with,
Wow.
and between the two of us, we presented a lot of workshops, and we meet once a month and socialize. And this is all online, of course, now.
Yeah.
Um, but being online through Zoom allows you to connect with playwrights who may not be in a city area, so they don't have the talent available.
Mm.
So now you can cast plays. Well, we did that with Aurora Theatre. We had the director and the production manager were in Singapore, the actors were in Hong Kong, and I was in Miami. So now you can bring a lot of people in to support the writers who don't have um, or don't even know actors.
Wow.
Now, because I've worked in the business for so long, I know all the actors, so I can recommend them. And it's great because we've done a lot of workshops and things on writing and on producing.
That is so
So
cool. Well, I hope you continue being the regional um
rep.
rep. Sorry, I forgot the term. I was gonna say regional ambassador for some reason. I was like, nope, that's not the term. That's not the term. Sorry. Anyway, that is so cool. And also, I want to ask, like, since you had done writing, and I mean, have you done directing? If I ask.
I've directed a lot.
Wow,
I'll be directing these monologues that we're doing for Black History Month as
that's
well.
cool.
And I have two other people directing with me. So it'll be a group effort.
That's
Yeah, I've done a lot of directing.
then.
And it helps me with my writing
Yeah.
because I know the limitations, and I know what theaters can and can't do, especially with short plays. even when they're not on Zoom, there's usually an evening of short plays. And so you can't write a play that requires a full working kitchen because they need time to change plays between each play. They need, like 1 minute to change the scene. So they bring on a couch and a lamp, maybe, but they're not going to do any plays that require some specific, very technical thing.
Mm.
So having produced uh, the summer theater and directed there and acted there, I know what the limitations are, and I know how to write to that to
Mm.
keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah, Zoom theater is weird, but then what can we do? Honestly.
Yeah.
Um, I wanna then I wanna ask in terms of like, so you've done acting, you've done directing, you even done producing, and you've done a lot of things. In general, which one do you lean toward most to out of all of the things you can do?
I think now, because of my age,
Mm,
I think the writing is what really interests me.
wow,
So,
that's cool. And
yeah.
shall we move on to knowing what are your favorites? And I want to know what's your favorite a favorite uh playwrights that inspire you.
I like a man called John Lindsay Adair. He writes very, um, sometimes very quirky things, and sometimes he writes very deep things. Like I was in a production called Rabbit Hole, which is about a woman um, whose son is run over, and it's the husband and the wife and her sister and her mother that I played dealing with the sadness and the mourning uh, of this event. And it's such a deep play and so beautifully written that I'd have to say, of all the plays that I've seen recently, that's the one I really, really like. And he's an interesting playwright because he writes very sort of bizarre comedies. Um, he wrote this one short play about a man whose arm got stuck in the Boston expression, in the car door. And he comes on stage literally with his arm and a car door. And so it's totally bizarre and it's totally fun.
That's so, oh god, that's like Wojciech all over again, isn't it? I mean, have you read Wojciech?
I haven't I haven't read that.
Wojciech is also it's a play that is not finished. Well, it's not that it's not finished, it's that they can't find the other missing part of the scene. So it's all messed up with the scenes all also not in order. So people and directors have to like interpret it in their own way of how they
Oh,
direct it.
oh, they have to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's a very weird piece that my university did, and they had like a machine that shoots out peas for the play. I don't know how, why it happened, but it happened. And anyway, other than so I'm glad I would love to know more about John Lindsay's um plays more late.
Jonathan Bear, yeah.
Yeah. And then do you have any actors that you inspire you?
I have a friend here in the States. She lives and works professionally in Florida. She's about maybe 10 or 12 years younger than myself. She's quite overweight, and she is one of the finest actresses I've ever known. She can pick up a script and read it so clearly. She just gets it. And so she's also a friend, but I so admire her ability as an actor to just become these parts,
Mm.
just in a simple reading. And I have another friend who is tall like me, and she is. I directed her in a play where she played six different times in a woman's life. It was a monologue play, and she just got it.
Wow.
You know,
It must.
and she transformed on stage. We had six chairs, and at the end of each section, she would just stand up, move to the next chair, change her hair or her glasses, and she would become the character. And that's a play by Leslie Avazian. I can't think of the title right now, but it's uh, just a one woman monologue by Leslie Avazian.
Okay.
So this gal is really good too.
Cool. I will. I'm gonna definitely search up these plays because they sound really cool from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also you not only you had people who are. I mean, I understand also like having actors who know how to play dynamics in their characters, and also there are actors who just when they get the first script and then they only read it once and they already get the whole scene, and the greatest ability, honestly, as an actor.
Yeah, it is a great ability.
Yeah.
I also I auditioned thousands of actors over the years for the summer theater, which I ran for 24 years. But I was always interested to hear what they bring and then to ask them to take it in a totally different direction. And the actors who are the best company members and who will do the best work are the ones who are able to just dive into another direction. They're not set in the pattern of the speech or the way they interpreted it. And, when you see that, when somebody cannot make that change, you know that they're not going to be able to deep dive into scripts. So
Because in the end, improvise acting is all about improvisation anyway.
it is. And, they know the words because they've learned the monologue.
Mm.
But it, to have them take a serious piece and then to laugh at themselves while they say it, it brings out whole new colors. And I've had actors tell me that that audition was something that opened up for them where they could then try all their monologues differently so they didn't get stuck in a rut of how they presented it each time,
Mm.
that they could make it real in real time. So
That's cool.
but it helps us audition people.
Wow. That's that's really insightful for someone who is like, I mean, I'm someone who is still wanting, not so sure if I want to do acting or directing. I also love dancing. I want to do dancing as I'm doing dancing as a hobby, and it's been fun too. But I'm still a very confused individual, not sure with life.
No, but that's great because you have an interest in everything.
Mhm.
And that's what in playwriting, I don't ask for specific lighting techniques in my short plays, especially because I know that they can't produce them.
Mhm.
So having the experience of producing and directing and acting, I know what the limitations are, and I know what can be done. With when they have unlimited budgets, which most theaters don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm learning a lot from talking to you, and it's really good to hear. And now I think we can come to an end of this whole interview. It was really fun having an interview with you, and I want to ask you, what should give the reason for people to watch Baby Fever?
Funny. It's real.
Very real.
The women are
I'm sorry.
can relate. Everybody can relate to it.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Um.
Yeah.
Not really. Can you repeat?
Yeah. I think it's funny,
Thank you.
and people can relate to it. And the two gals who did it were great. The director, the production was great. So watch my show, Baby Fever.
I'm so excited, and thank you for this interview. And I'm going to end the live in